Welcome to this week's episode of Build Week with Licode. This time we're going to build a text and image generator for social media. So the objective is to let your users create content and create images for their social posts. So let's give the app a name, Social Text and Image Generator. And let's get to it. We're trying to make it kind of a complete app where you can do everything, all from the same app. All thanks to Licode. So we want navigation on top, we want these fonts, and let's choose just the light theme color. Okay, we're ready to start building. Let's go. Let's start by going on the AI Studio. Here, this time we want to create two AI models, one for generating text, one for generating images. So we'll add one. We're going to call it text generator, and we're going to give it some special instructions, which I've already copied. So it's going to tell the model to follow certain rules based on whether you're posting on LinkedIn, X, or Instagram. We're going to keep GPT-4 Mini, even though we could choose another one. And we're going to give it some knowledge in the form of websites. So this one will be about how to tweet like a pro. I don't know if we still say tweet, but I choose to say it. This one is about posting on LinkedIn. So we'll also add it on the knowledge base. And the last one will be about making good Instagram caption. So our model is done. This is to generate text. So let's see what it does when we ask him a little prompt, like write an Instagram caption about education. A bit random, but that's what we want to try. Education is the passport to the future. Yeah, perfect. So that's our Instagram caption, and it does the same if you ask for LinkedIn or X. Obviously, our prompt is going to be more precise later on, but that's our text generator done. Now we're going to create the image model. So we're going to add a new AI model, and this time it's going to create the thumbnail or image, depending on how you want to call it. So we'll call it image generator, and the type is going to be image here. So there won't be background instructions. We can choose different models between DALL-E and Flux. Let's be a bit fancy and use Flux, which is a very advanced one. So for the image model, that's all we have to do. Now let's be funky and test it. Here's a prompt: a pet giraffe snowboarding down the sand in the ocean. Let's run it and see what happens. There we go. That's a nice little image. So the AI model works. Now we're gonna have to use it to build our app. So let's save that. And the next step will be to build the interface of your app. It's time now to build the app's interface. So let's get started. We can start adding a container with a heading. The heading will be choose your platform. And now we want to give the users a choice to choose between LinkedIn, X, or Instagram. So we'll add a new container with 3 columns. The first column will have a heading, H2 heading saying LinkedIn. And we can add a funnel image to show that it's LinkedIn. So we'll pick LinkedIn. Those images are generated with the Flux AI model. So I don't know. I think they're quite nice. Let's upload LinkedIn. Perfect. Then we'll add a little bit of text to explain what it is. Well, this text is a bit too big, so we'll style it to be just a bit smaller. And then we'll add under the text a little button that says pick LinkedIn. Perfect. We're going to do the same for X and Instagram. So H2 heading, X, image. I'm going to upload this one. We want the whole image. Perfect. We're going to add a little bit of text. So here, let's add it. And we'll make it a bit smaller, like last time. Last but not least, button pickaxe. And finally, we'll add Instagram. We'll do the same again. Instagram. We'll add an image. Upload Instagram. Perfect. So we've got the image. We'll add a bit of text. It's this one. And then a button. Beautiful. Now, everything's a bit stuck together. So we're going to go here and pick the container and add a gap of 8. So that already looks a bit nicer. Yeah, this text is a bit too long. We'll just remove a word. Maybe just use hashtags. There we go. Everything is on the same alignment. Now, under that, we're going to add the possibilities of how to generate content. So let's add another heading. I'll be H2 here. And this section is going to be called Generate Your Text. Beautiful. We're going to add another container again because we want the rest to be on 2 columns. The first column will just be a description of what we want the post to be about. So, what the post is about, the name. And on the side, we'll add 2 inputs. One is going to be a shorter one, just for people to do their CTA. So here, users can put the CTA they want to add. And another one, which will be the tone of voice. So, here, tone of voice. We'll add two options, just formal and let's say casual. So that's going to be our different options. Same as before, we're going to select the container and add a gap between the columns. Perfect. And then we just want to add a button. So we can add it just under this column here. We'll add a button that will generate the content. So we call it generate content. Perfect. We can do a different theme that's more visible. Okay, so that's the content input done. Now we want to add another container that will display the response. So here we're going to put another H2 saying your content. And now we just want to add an AI field, which is the response text. Perfect. We're going to link everything up together after. And for now, we're just building the interface. To make it a bit nicer, we can add a little border. So here, that'll make this whole thing a bit nicer because it's all in the same container. After that, we're going to add another section, which is going to be about the image generation. So generate your image, which will also be H2. We're going to add a little bit of explainer text. Sorry, not heading. We're going to add the text, just saying that the image will be generated based on the content of the post, because we want the workflow to be first generating the content and then the image. Perfect. We're going to add another container. No, we don't need a container for this one. We'll just keep on going like that. So we want here to ask what the style of the image should be. So we'll go to style. We're going to have 3 different options here. So let's do option watercolor. You can add as many as you want. You can add 70 if you need. Here we'll just do 3. So photorealism. And the third one will be pop art. Perfect. And under that, we're going to add another input if people want to give specific instructions on what the image should be. So we can add another text input, which will be specific instructions. We'll write that it's optional because the image will also take into account the contents that's generated. Beautiful. Now we'll add the button, say generate image. And finally, we want to display the image. So we'll add a new container. Same as before, we're going to add a little border to show that it's AI-generated content. We'll add the heading, which will say, what was it up there? Your content here will be your image. And then for images, we want to select the image with URL, because the image generation will generate an image that's going to be posted on an URL. So if we want to get it, we want this. So the image will be here. This is the interface for the app. Nothing's functional yet, but this is what it looks like. You choose your platform, then you add your description and tone of voice and everything for your text. The text is generated, and then after that, you generate your image, select the style, add some instructions, generate the image, and you get here. That's all you need. And we're also going to add a button if someone wants to copy the image's URL. Perfect. We don't have it yet, but that's how it'll go. This button will be, where is it? Theme. We'll do also the pink one. And here let's do accent, because it's also a different action. So there we go. We've got our interface. Our interface is built. Now we want to find a way to get all the data from the different fields and to put the data in the images and in the content generated. So this will all be thanks to state variables. Those are the variables that are going to hold data relative to the page. So an example is going to be the platform. This is going to be either X, Instagram, or LinkedIn. And when someone is going to click, the platform will be chosen. So this variable will hold this information. We need to create one for each input and each output. So content description. Let's write text. It's clearer than content. We want the CTA, and we want the information of the tone of voice. Then we want the state variable to hold the response. So generate text. Now we want the image style. We'll just call it style. We want image instructions. And there we'll have the image URL. So all our state variables here are going to hold information about the page. The first one, we'll do the first one last. We'll do all the others first. So all the inputs needs to be done on interaction. So when someone interacts with these inputs, we're going to set a state variable with the input value. So when people describe what the post is about, this description is going to go into the text description state variable. We'll do the same with CTA. This is going to go into CTA. We'll do tone of voice here. Now we'll do the same with style for the images and for the instructions. So style is going into style, and instructions will go into image instructions here. Perfect. Now we'll have our content here. Here we don't want to bind anything, it's just the value shown here will be the value of the generated text. We just want to select the value. And then the image URL, the value is also going to be image URL. Lastly, this button is a bit special. We can set the interactions as copy text, and the text will also be the image URL. Now for the first variable, we want to put LinkedIn if the person clicks here, X if the person clicks here, or Instagram if the person clicks here. So we can do that as well. Interactions. On click, we want to set the state variable value. So we'll select platform to LinkedIn. We're going to do the same for the other two. Here, one platform will be X. Or Twitter if it's clear for the AI, and same for Instagram. Perfect. So our state variable are all linked with their respective fields and interface element. Now, when the user arrives on the page, we don't want everything to be displayed at once. We don't want to show the possibility of generating an image when they haven't even picked the platform yet, right? For that, we're going to use conditional rendering. We're going to hide things until they're ready to be shown. The first thing is everything should be hidden when we don't even have a platform yet. So we're going to select all our containers. So the first container here, we're going to say enable conditional rendering. The first rule will be that platform should not be empty. So we'll show when the platform is not empty. We'll do the same for the next container as well. So add rule when platform is not empty. And for the content, we don't need to do this one yet. This one will be actually when the generated text is not empty. So when someone picks the platform, we want to show generate your text, but we don't want to show the content field, right? Because it's empty in the beginning. So when the generated text is not empty, we want to show it. Now it's going to be the same for the whole generate your image here. We only want to see it when the generated text is not empty. Now I've added the conditional rendering for all 4 buttons as well as the first 2. We're going to save our work. The next step is to create the actions that will be triggered by the 2 buttons here, generate content and generate image. Let's start with the first one. We'll go into actions and create action. This one will be, it will be used to generate text. We need to specify what are the inputs of this action. Here we're going to have 4 inputs. If you remember well, the first one will be the platform. The second one will be the description of the content. The third one will be the CTA. So that's what the action is going to need in order to generate the text. And the last one will be the tone of voice. We could add another step here with generate text, but I'll show you another trick. You can do it directly in the output. Here, we're going to have only one output, which is the generated text. Sorry, right? Generated text is here, and the output can be used directly with AI. So here, instead of giving a value, we're going to give the prompt. The prompt will be to generate a post for, and here we're going to type the double brackets to get a variable from the input. So for this platform, right? Now I'm going to make the prompt quite simple by using labels. So what the post is about is the description. So double brackets, here we'll take the description. Then we'll do CTA. I'm gonna add the CTA input. And then tone of voice. Tone of voice will be the tone of voice input. And we'll select the AI model we created at the beginning of the video, the text generator. So our first action is done. We'll save it, and then we can move on to the second one. Okay, now we've created our first action, we can save it, and we'll go back into the Actions tab to create a second one. This will be, as you have guessed, generate image. This one will have 3 inputs. So the first 2 are the 2 input fields we've added on the interface. So the style of the image, and what's the second one? The specific instructions, right? So I'll add instructions. And the last field is going to be actually the generated content. So we'll use the output of the first action as an input of the second one. So we'll call it the generated text. Now, from these 3 inputs, we're going to add a step here. This time we have to. And the step will be generate image. We'll select the AI model, which is the image generator we created earlier. And we'll have the prompt to create the image. So we'll say, generate an image for the following content. And the content will be the post that we created in the first step. So this is the generated text. Then we'll say, follow these specific instructions. Say to ignore if it's empty, because I said it was optional. And here we'll add this input field. And then use the following style. And this time we'll put the style from inputs. We can save this action, and we're done. Now all we have to do is to link everything together. Now it's time for the very satisfying linking everything together after we've created all our variables, our AI models, and our actions. So linking everything together means telling the app what will happen when you click on this button and this button. So we'll do the content first. What we need to do is to say that on click, we're going to trigger an action. The action for here is generate text. And the platform is going to going to ask us what are going to be the input fields that you created when you built the action. Here we said that the action would have 4 inputs, tone of voice, CTA, description, and platform. And we need to tell the app where does it take the values. And the answer is always from the state variables. So the tone of voice will be tone of voice, the CTA will be CTA, the description will be text description, and the platform will be platform. That's why it's important to name everything that holds the same information the same way. We want to wait for the response because the answer is important. We want an output, and the output is generated text. And the app is asking us, where do you want to store this output? And we want to store it to store it in, generate the text state variable up here. So that's it. Now we need to do the same for the second one. So when you want to click on the button to generate an image, you want to trigger the action, generate image. The generated text will be the output of the first action, and the instructions are here, and the style is here. And here again, we want to wait for the response, but nothing's shown here. And I know why, is because in the previous step, I forgot to specify an output. So I'll save the work done here, and I'll go back to the Actions tab on the Generate Image. So on this step, we generated an image, but we didn't specify if there was an output to the action. That's where my mistake was. So we'll say, this is the image URL. And the value will be the output of the previous step. So this is where you see it, image URL from the Generate Image. If you want to see what every step has as an output, you can click on Outputs here. So here it generates a URL. And the URL will contain the generated image. So back on this tab, sorry about this mistake, we can go back here, and on the interactions, we can say the image URL will be stored in the image URL state variable. And with that, we finished the app. The only last step is to try it. Let's do it. Let's publish the app. So to publish the app, we want first to go here on the settings of the page to make it public, so that we don't have to log in and create an account when we visit the page. If you want to monetize your page, obviously you want people to create an account, so you don't make it public. But for the demo, we want to. We'll save everything another time, we'll publish the app, and then we'll visit it. And it's already live. So as you can see, I'll move my face here. The buttons show, but that's all that shows. So we can pick Instagram, and then it's gonna show us the next section. We can also pick X or pick LinkedIn, and that sets the state variable every time. So let's say we want X. We want to write a post about our startup journey in food tech. I'm a bit improvising with the examples, but let's see where it goes. CTA, come to my restaurant. It's not really a food tech startup. It's a bit contradictory, but whatever. And the tone of voice will be casual. Let's generate the content. And there we go. We've got our little content here. If we want it to be different, if we want to make it longer, we can always add more instructions in the prompt and spell it correctly. Now we can generate an image that goes with the post. So let's select a style. We want it to be pop art. Specific instructions. We want to include some lettuce and a goat. So let's see what's gonna come out of it. And there's our image. We've got lettuce. We've got a goat. Yeah, the lettuce is up there. It's actually really good. So you can see it here and try to save it or copy it directly by right-clicking, or you can copy the image's URL here. And then you can open a new tab, click, and you'll see the image popping up in a new tab. So it's here. And you can again save it from here or copy it. So that's it. We've built the app completely from scratch with Licode. If you want to add new fields, if you want to create a different page for each platform, it's possible. If you want to create different AI models with more complex knowledge, it's also possible. It's up to what knowledge you can bring the app, and it's up to you to create the app of your dreams. So go ahead, have fun, make new apps, and I hope this video was clear enough. If you have any feedback, don't hesitate to leave it in the comments. I'm excited to read to read what you have to say and to see all the apps you're going to create.